And to the Bradford County Board of Education December 20th meeting, we could stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just turn it on, apparently. Yeah. I turned mine off. Just roll call, please.
Dr. Swab.
Here.
Mrs. Brewer.
Here.
Pastor Rindle.
Here.
Mr. Biesecker.
Here.
Mr. Manuel.
Here. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. And our next item on our agenda is reviewing the agenda and approving our prior minutes. So item A is any additions or deletions to the agenda we have before us. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve? Thanks, Scott. And a second, Maria. Roll call for approval.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. Next item is approving minutes of the November 15th regular and records retention meeting. We've had a chance to review. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thanks, Maria. And a second. Thanks, Louis. Any discussions or questions? Hearing on roll call for approval.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Pastor Rindle.
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker.
Yes.
Mr. Manuel.
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. This time I'd like to turn the meeting over to our administrative team for our student and staff spotlights.
So we have two elementary staff spotlights. First one is Daniel Young. Come on up here, Nate. And his teacher, Mrs. Schmidt, who nominated him, is here, so I'll let her read.
Well, this is Nate, and I'll just read what I have here. The student I feel deserves to be recognized as a boy in the 5th grade. This young man has overcome many obstacles academically in his school career. As a 5th grader, he has been asked to work harder than ever before. And just for a little reference, we were a resource room for most of our academics the last few years. This year, we're all inclusion. So he is in the gen ed classroom getting the instruction with the other 5th graders, and he is working really hard. He has not only tried, but has been successful in most of his classes. In October, he took the STAR Math Assessment. On this assessment, he showed a growth of 1 year in mathematics, 1 year from August to October. This truly reflects the effort he has put into his work in math class. I cannot wait to see what the rest of the year and beyond will bring for you. We are super proud of you for all of your hard work, Nate Young. Keep up the great work, Nate, and you will do great things. Great job. Congratulations. Good job, like you like me.
You're up, Zoe. And next we have Zoe Huddleston. She was nominated by Mrs. Hart, and this is what Mrs. Hart had to say. I would like to recognize Zoe Huddleston as this month's student spotlight. Zoe is a 4th grader who is the youngest of 4 siblings. Her parents are Ryan and Eva Huddleston. She has 3 dogs, Duke, DJ, and Atlas. Her hobbies are basketball and loves drawing. Her favorite subject is art. She's very hardworking and does not give up. She works hard and continues to figure it out, even if it becomes challenging. She approaches all of her schoolwork this way. She's the perfect representation of Bradford's best. Great job, Zoe, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So those were our elementary student spotlights. Our junior high and high school student spotlights. Our first student is Cameron Hedder. He's nominated by Mrs. Sneed. I would like to recognize sixth grader Cameron Hedrick as Bradford Student Spotlight for December. Cameron is the son of Justin and Tiffany Hedrick. He has two younger sisters, Scarlett and Cora. Cameron earned a 4.0 during his first quarter of sixth grade, and he is on pace for another 4.0 this quarter. He is such a hard worker and a pleasant individual. Cameron always turns in quality work and it is turned in on time. In his spare time, Cameron enjoys playing basketball. He also has an interest in animals, and after high school, he would like to possibly become a wildlife biologist. Cameron's family moved to Bradford a couple years ago. He's been an awesome addition to the student body here at Bradford. He's a terrific role model to his classmates, both in academics and behavior. Great job, Cameron, and congratulations. And for the high school, Patrick Putoff. Come on up, Patrick. Have a choice, buddy. So Patrick was nominated by Mr. Latino, and this is what Mr. Latino had to say. My selection for high school student spotlight is Patrick Putoff. Math does not come naturally or easily for Patrick, but no one works harder than he does, day in and day out, to understand math. He has been the top points leader in his geometry class the entire year and has even apologized to me for asking so many questions. If all students worked even half as hard as Patrick, there would be no math failures at all. Patrick is the student that all teachers would like to have in class. Great job, Patrick, and congratulations. And then we have our staff spotlight. And the staff spotlight is the cafeteria and janitorial staff, which was nominated by the administrative staff. The administrative team would like to recognize our cafeteria and janitorial staff for this month's staff spotlight. They are always willing to go the extra mile to help students. For example, we had a family group and cafeteria staff bake 500 cookies and prepare the icing so it would be successful. The janitorial staff also went above and beyond by preparing hot chocolate prepared in areas for us to mix dye. We have a group of above for our students. Thank you. So if the parents and students want to stay, they're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if they have homework to go to or have to get ready for exams or possibly get ready for, the upcoming holidays, they're more than free.
Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it.
I should have had you stand up there.
I told you what you would do.
I studied before I came back.
Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I'm in that lovely cafeteria.
See you later.
Quiet.
There's been a lot going on because it's the month of December, and December is a crazy, exciting time of the year. And so this is just when we had a spirit week for the students to kick off our McDonald's Pop Tabs drive. We are actually a participant that's helping the Ronald McDonald House, especially with the families that they've been helped. Our community have had in our community, as well as teachers. We had a calling to say that we want to help raise money, and Pop Tabs were part of the way to do that. We're doing Pop Tabs at Christmas, since Christmas time's kind of tight for parents. And then in February, we'll be doing March, we'll be doing money collections to help also give donations to the Ronald McDonald House. So this is all different dress up times. They had a lot of fun. We had Elf Day and Headgear Day, and it was just a really great time of year, and it's still very festive if you come into the elementary this time of year. We also had the Dark County Arts, and this program was really neat. It was this Sousaville, is that right? Did I say that right?
Susicle or something.
Susicle. And it was really neat. The kids loved it because they had all the different characters, and the backdrop, you really can't see, but it's like Dr. Seuss related, and it really kept the kids' attention, and it was really well received by all the boys and girls. So thanks to the arts. We received our fall test scores for 2022. And so what happens is the ELA test for the third grade, they take it in the fall, and then they get another chance in the springtime to take it for the third grade. I put up here just a little bit to show how we've improved since last year. Fall of 2021, we had a proficient higher of 17% on the first time around. This year, we got up to 38% the first time around. So I was pretty excited to see how many students were proficient or higher, which is 38%. The retention score is something different than the proficient. It is a score that the state comes up with of what's going to be what they consider proficient for third grade, and not needing lots of remediation to get them prepared for the fourth grade. And last year we were at 34%, and this year we're at 48%. And again, this is just the first time around. So the skills that they're actually going over are skills that they're covering throughout the entire third grade year. So this is just the beginning of where we're at. By the end, my hopes are that we'll be at 100% with meeting the retention score, and many more that are proficient or higher. The district average last year was a 674, and this year is a 686. I was really excited that we are only 1 point from the average of the state, and that's the first time around. So I'm very hopeful, and I think it's promising that we are going to see great growth come the springtime when we retake the test. Here's what I was talking about, the pop tabs. This is the Ronald McDonald House where we collected. The total pop tabs for the elementary were 172.81 pounds, and approximately 218,950 pop tabs were collected. We've got 2 big, huge containers. We had these looking like presents with pop tabs for the grade levels, because there's a pizza party for the grade level that got the most. And the third grade one was 69.9 pounds of pop tabs. We had to take the pop tabs out of those for tie-dyeing on the day we had family groups. That's why they're empty. Speaking of family groups, this is where we discussed earlier in the school year where we had the family groups. Well, this time around, we really got crazy, and each family group got to pick a color. And they tie-dyed t-shirts. Every one of the students and staff tie-dyed a t-shirt to match the color that the family group decided to choose. They also had a coloring contest, and like I said, the janitorial staff and the cafeteria staff really, I don't know what I would have done without them, because I was like stressing big time this day. Got the water together, got the food and the hot cocoa together, and it just turned out to be amazing. Now, the big piece of this, is there just one set of slides?
No,
Can you go to the next one? Okay, they had to pick a Christmas carol. So each group had to pick a Christmas carol, and they had to present. So we had like Christmas caroling around the gym. It was time for Mr. Snyder's group to sing, and he comes down and he gets the microphone. And they always sing, for the most part, we kept saying it's always Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That seemed to be the one that was being picked the most. And I don't know if it was one of your students that really took the spotlight, but yeah, Mr. Snyder came down, he got the microphone, he came back up into the stands, and a student that sometimes he had, like, his niche is artistic, and being in a small school, we don't have a lot to offer kids that are very creative. He stood up, sang the song from You're the Mean One, Mr. Grinch, with the most passion and heart that I've ever seen from a kid. And that whole day was stressful. And by that time, I was crying because of how good he did and how much passion you saw in him. And to see the other boys and girls who sometimes don't understand where he comes from actually support him and cheer for him. When at first it wasn't so happy. I mean, they kind of, I thought at the beginning, weren't being so kind. But as he was showing the passion he had, the amount of support they gave him was amazing. And then they sang, I think, we wish you a Merry Christmas after that. And it was just amazing. So I've got to honestly say, to watch the family groups grow, I see family being brought together. And it's exciting to be in a small district because of that. And that was the group that won the competition of the best Christmas carol. Oh, it was a tie. I'm sorry about that. There was a tie. Your group was tied. Is that right? No? Who was the other? Oh, it was Mrs. Ridout's group where they had Ember and they were picking her up and she was saying things. These are the students of the week that I've had for the past couple weeks. I, for some reason, cannot find the other picture. I've had 3 weeks since then, and I don't know where the other one got to, so I apologize for that. And then this is my student of the month for December, Vivian Flippo. She was nominated several times for student of the week, and that's how she ended up getting student of the month. And I did not get the name off of it. That was not the correct name. The spelling book bee took place, and during our elementary spelling bee, these were the participants, and this was nearing the ending round, and it was getting very exciting for who was going to make it to the end. And our winners were, they were Cyrus Matthew was the winner of the spelling bee. The runner-up was Owen Bubeck, and the first runner-up was Caitlin Barhorst, and they all did a great job. And take it away.
All right, these are my students of the week. You can see they're still getting really excited about their free ice cream and homework passes. I think with it being the end of the 9 weeks, they really wanted the free homework passes to kind of help them for their second 9 weeks grades. So Mrs. Moore's publications class came to me and asked me if they could decorate the halls, and I'm all about Christmas and this time of year and everything. And you know, as you came down the hallway, you kind of saw what they did, which was amazing. I was a little worried that some of them would fall down or be taken down by a 6th grader or 7th grader that, you know, can be a little mischievous, but, you know, the kids have loved it. And, you know, it's really kind of brought out, you know, that Christmas spirit in the hallways. And I did put a picture up here as well that they happened to decorate they Christmas wrapped everything in my office. Literally everything in my office. But, you know.
And to emphasize everything, they did everything on his desk and then had extra paper wrapped or left over, so they then did the desk. So everything under the wrapping paper was then wrapped too.
It was a 2-day experience to get it all.
Too bad you weren't sitting at your desk.
I have the feeling I was asleep. So here are our spelling bee winners right here. Kids did a great job. Nick Swider, first place, he's a 7th grader. 2nd place, Eli Hoffman, a 7th grader. And then our 2 3rd-place guys were Braden Benrick and Tevin Smith, they're 6th graders. So, you know, a little surprised we didn't have an 8th grader in there, but these guys have done well. Nick came in 2nd place last year, so he's going to represent us at the county. I guess they call that a meet or a county spelling bee in January. So real proud of these guys and how they handled themselves. I kind of wanted to put out some first half highlights. I've been here for about 1.5 years now, and I've gotten to know the district, know the building, know the students very well. Some things, positive things that I'm seeing on a regular basis. You know, last year, yeah, we had COVID and everything. This year, we've had a lot of flu, we've had a lot of RSV, we've had a lot of just sickness anyway, but our attendance rate's gone up about 3%, which is huge. Obviously, you have to be in the building to learn. So we're getting many, many more students in the building. Last year, our attendance lists each day seemed to be quite long, and this year we're condensing those quite a bit. Last year, Bob and I talked about it regularly. We had a lot of office referrals, and I don't know if it was being cooped up at home and not being able to socialize and communicate, and you know, students are a little behind in that social aspect of their lives. But at this point in time last year, we had 130 total office referrals. So Bob and I were pretty busy in the office, which doesn't help getting into classrooms and being able to meet with teachers and all those things. This year, we've only had 55. So we're making a really good impact. Kids are doing a great job. And I see a lot more positive things in the hallways, in the cafeteria, all of those places where the students would be more social. Extracurricular participation has gone up almost 10%. You know, I always say in order to be successful, you have to be, you know, really involved in the school. Obviously, that's not a number that I want it to be much larger than that, but we're making gains, and students are really getting more involved in the school. You can see it on a day-to-day basis, just interactions in the classroom, the hallways, everything. And I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, we're finally getting over the COVID hump a little bit. Couple other things, I did reintroduce TBTs. TBTs are teacher-based teams, where we're basically just meeting as a group once a month and talking about better around the building, and that's gone over very well. I did get a grant from the Marsh Foundation for about $13,000. The staff had not had an outside source come in and do a professional development in, I think I was told 8 or 9 years. Last year, we kind of, in the spring, we looked at all of our state data and everything, and one of the things that popped out was our writing skills. And writing is every subject. It doesn't matter if it's PE or, English class, even math class. You have to be able to write in this world. And it doesn't matter if you're going to be, working on in a factory or, working as a doctor or a teacher or whatever. You have to be able to write and communicate through written expression. So we brought in Colin's writing. She's been in twice so far this year. She's coming back in January, and that has gone over very, very well. We now have more of a common theme for writing and common language that each teacher is using to help the students with their writing skills. And that seems to be going very well. And the last thing, we started this, and one of the things that I kind of noticed last year is we don't recycle anything. So student leadership's kind of taken it upon themselves that we are now starting to recycle paper, which helps. We don't have to shred as much, I guess, Carla. But, it's one of those things. We're trying to add groups. Student leadership was new towards the middle of last year, and they've been going strong this year as well. But we're trying to get more students involved through things like this so that they feel a little more a part of the district and more part of the school and be more of a whole school community. So those are just some of those things. Here are our upcoming events that we have early released because it's the end of the 9 weeks on Thursday. So we're out at 1:10. Our Christmas break will then run from Friday this week until the 2nd. There's an athletic booster meeting next Wednesday at 7, PTO meeting on the 4th at 6, and then on the 11th of January, we have a 2-hour early release for professional development.
I'm gonna throw in something, the booster meeting got moved to tomorrow.
The booster meeting is no longer, it is tomorrow.
Yeah, because of the holidays, they moved it this month.
Makes sense. Athletics, winter sports is going strong right now. As you can see, I couldn't even get everything in here until our next board meeting. But, we have a game with Franklin Monroe tonight. We have a big day on Thursday where Lehman comes over, girls basketball plays, then the JV play, and then the high school boys play, which we were at Lehman last year, and that went very well. And this year we're here at home, so that'll be a good night. Then we're kind of off until after the holidays. Start back with boys and girls basketball in the Covington Holiday Tournament next Wednesday and Thursday. When we come back after the break, junior high plays Preble Shawnee on the 2nd. The boys are at home, girls are away. And then the 3rd, the boys play at Middletown Christian. 5th, the junior high boys are here against Russia. Again, on the 5th, the girls play at Preble Shawnee. High school boys are on the 6th against Preble Shawnee. And then on the 7th, we have 2 games. I believe the 7th is a Saturday. So the girls will start at noon and then the boys play at 6.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it. That's I'm Merry Christmas.
Any questions for Administrative Team? Next, Mrs. Brewer, do you have an update for the Career Center?
I did, and I forgot it, but they had a record enrollment for the first night for sophomores. They had like 900 sophomores that enrolled the first day. They had over 60 enrolled for the new program for the first responders. So their numbers are record breaking this year. Of course, all of them won't get in because they don't have room for everybody, but that was definitely a big year for the Career Center for enrollment. So lots of exciting things. They actually had more enroll this year than they had totally in our whole school a couple years ago with juniors and seniors. So a lot of big things happening.
That's good. Good opportunities. Thanks, Mr. Hurst.
I have a picture up here of the inside of our bus barn with buses in it, finally. If you haven't been out there, just say the word and I'll take you out for a short tour. The building, it's nothing frivolous, but to see it, it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible to walk in there and see the floors all cleaned up. We've got lines in between each of the doors. We've got 5 of the 6 buses in there right now. We've got all the Musco lighting in there for the field lights. And knowing those were a sizable investment, we wanted to make sure those boxes didn't stay out in the weather. So when that gets put up, we'll get the other bus in. But the bus that's outside right now is probably going to end up in the scrapyard by the end of the year or early next year anyways. So not a huge loss. But to have them indoors, our drivers are excited about being able to go in there and do that. Nikki Huff, our van driver, kept asking, when do I get to do my pre-trips inside? And now that she's inside, being able to do that in the light, out of the weather, it makes a world of difference. And just doing it myself with pre-trip on the van, it's night and day difference. It's really, really nice to have. So the other thing is, we've got a picture of the track here. What you see is the pad getting finished up. We've got a fellow coming out tomorrow, or a company coming out to test the density. If it passes they do a nuclear test is what it is. They send radar waves down through the ground and back up, and they measure how dense that soil is. If it's dense enough, they'll layer that with gravel. This week, they want to get it covered up before Thursday's snowstorm. Another story there. As far as the infield goes, if everything goes well, he's going to put in the tile drain from goal line to goal line tomorrow. So that'll pretty much do everything inside the track except the goalpost, the scoreboard, and the pole vault pit. Outside the track, he's got the discus and the shot put to do, but he can do those even in the spring and not interfere with much. Seed everything. We've got irrigation going in, scoreboard, fencing, bleachers, press box, and like I said, the drainage. So we're getting closer on that. So construction is going well. We've got a few items on the agenda tonight for approval to make sure things are continuing to move forward. And then that'll be hopefully, like I said, moving forward. I can't say we're going to be wrapping up by any means. 2 other things I wanted to talk about here. Last month I mentioned, and I didn't write down the policy number, but we had a policy that we are going to vote on tonight concerning concealed carry in the cars. I read up on that after our meeting, and I apologize for misconstruing anything last month. But basically what that means is for those people with concealed carry permits, nothing changes. The new law that comes into effect or has come into effect where people can carry, they are not permitted to have a gun on the premises, locked up or not locked up in their car. So that's what the policy basically said is it separates those two. So if you do have a CDL or CCW, I'm sorry, no laws are changed for you. So that was that. And then the last thing is we are soon going to be working on our school calendar for next year. If any of you have input, in fact, I'd kind of like to hear what you guys have to say before we structure everything. What we've done in the past is we go in with the committee and say, here's the parameters we've got to play with. In order to get through X, Y, or Z or approval from the board, we need this. Last year, we had the clear directive that we were going to start after the Darke County Fair. I've heard positive things about that. Of course, I've heard some negative, but mostly positive. So I would like to hear from you guys kind of those parameters of where we need to stand before we have that first meeting and make sure we're all on the same page. So do you have directives?
I definitely like starting after the fair. I think it's good for all the students, Miami County, Darke County, all the participants. I like starting after the fair. I did talk to you about an equal quarter for 4 quarters, if they could be more equal and not one be 2 weeks longer than the other quarter. But that's all I think.
Those are the two things I've got right now.
I think it's good to not try to finish exams after a holiday break. I don't know how that works, but having spent years in training and education, nothing's worse than having to think about that evening break. I agree with Maria. I think it's best to start after the fairs. I think that's respectful for our students and for our community, if possible. I think would be a priority.
I think that makes more sense than doing like a week and then stopping for a week during the fair and restarting. That's like 2 starts.
Right,
It's kind of,
waste of days.
it's a pain. I mean, it's just, there's lost construction days because of that. So,
You
I
ramp
agree
up,
too.
and then you ramp down, and then you ramp up.
Yeah. I agree too. If we can, as long as you can get the semester in before Christmas break, so you're not carrying it over. I don't have a problem starting after Dark County Fair. But having been through it and knowing how bad it is, you come back from May, you come back from Christmas break, you get two instruction days, and you turn around and you gotta start getting ready for semester exams. And no, that's not good.
I agree if it's 9 weeks, but if it's only 7 weeks, I don't want us cram the test in 7 weeks rather than 9 weeks. I think 9 weeks or the quarter should be a quarter,
Oh, yeah.
not 7 weeks instead of 9.
Yeah, I think functionally it's best to complete it, have a break, and then start fresh mentally. And if you want to have success and closure, because I don't know how that works, but I did a bazillion quarters over my career, and that is way easier to refocus, restart, start new and afresh at the beginning of the year if possible.
And you remember, I said semester. And in your 9 weeks, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Right.
But I said semester, that's key.
Right.
I want semester, I want to see it the semester first semester is over with as they walk out the door at Christmas break. So it's just much easier on staff, on teachers to get things prepared, and you don't have to waste. Bottom line, you're not going to waste instruction days. That's what it amounts to. And those are the key days that you got to have. And the more you waste, the less time you have to, the staff has to teach their subject matter and what they're doing, whatever the subject matter might be. And even a few days, instruction is vital to teachers and to students, especially to students, because you're giving them that much more time for instruction. You're not sitting there reviewing something that you've been doing over the first semester. Okay, anything else? Okay, I think that does it. And that does it for my report, unless there's any questions.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Server.
Just a couple of things this evening that I wanted to bring to your attention. You have a copy of the budget in front of you, and the budget that you have is really an annotated version needed for tax purposes of the 5-year forecast. So it's just really almost a redundant document, but I've talked about this before. It is incumbent on us to present to the county auditor the right to receive our tax money. And that's what this document does. So I need to tweak it a little bit because I'm waiting a little bit of information from the county auditor. And but it's substantially complete. It's not going to change as far as the numbers, except maybe a few in between. And I wanted to bring that tonight to have that approved. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and Mr. Hirsch had a picture of the bus garage, the bus barn up there. And the one thing I want to point out, because I don't know if people know this, but those lights that are up there, Mr. Miller, Skip Miller, was instrumental in taking the lights that were out of the gym and placing those in the building with automatic starting, and had LED replacements put in each one of those, took care of it, and it was a rather significant cost saving, and it'll be a rather significant operational savings. And as we work through that, we're going to meter that building separately so that we can get state reimbursement on that. So that's some of the things that we're looking at, so that some of the costs we'll have with that building will be recouped as time goes on. So we're pretty excited about that building.
And the motion sensors are incredible. If a driver comes in the morning, you don't flip light switches on. You just walk in. You remember, right, the gym is still set up this way. You walk in and the lights pop in as you walk across the floor. Same way in here, it's the same old lights. So if as a driver were to push the garage door opener, just like you would at home, that door opens up, the lights start popping on, you drive in and they pop in as you're driving in. It's absolutely amazing. So, and all from repurposing our old lights without
Yeah,
these.
So we helped the economy and helped ourselves all at the same time. And as we'll be coming back next month with the bids for the electric buses. That's one thing we're excited about. We're excited to get those in. We're excited to get them housed. And we haven't talked about it much. One of the problems that we're running into is tied to the charging stations and how we're going to do that. And we need to figure that out before we can finalize the buses. So that's one of the operative issues that we're dealing with. The grants, we're going to be working through that in the next month. I'm hopeful that we've got some expenditures coming your way because we need to look at some of our ESSER dollars and be finalizing that. So I wanted to let you know that. And the audit, I'm not even bringing up at this point because I have not heard anything from the last time, and I'm just patiently waiting for them to finalize. And the last thing that I want to bring forth is that there is an individual in our audience tonight, Mrs. Tiffany Shively, and we've had the honor of interviewing Mrs. Shively, and we would like to tell you that you will see her name on the board agenda tonight. And I think she's going to be a real asset as we further try to complete some grants, work through some items that we can garner some more money for the district, and just do various things for the district that I think this district deserves. So Tiffany, if you would like to stand up. And
Put you on the spot.
I do believe that you may know some of these people. Tiffany attended school. You're going to have to give your background a little bit because I don't want to misplace your information, but Tiffany is very familiar with Bradford.
Sure. So I went to kindergarten and first grade in Clark County, Ohio, and then I came here and went 2nd through 6th grade, and then I finished at Covington. My husband and I lived in Dublin, Ohio for 11 years, and then lived in Minnesota for a very short time, and we've been back here, I think I said since my daughter's in kindergarten and she's in 5th grade now. So 6 or 7 years we've been back in this area. So, and my degree's in accounting from Wright State.
We have some real exciting things that we're going to be working on because I think we're both motivated individuals to make things happen. At least I think we sufficiently scare people at times with our ideas. So I just wanted you to have an opportunity to meet Tiffany. It was great to have her here tonight and looking forward to working with her.
I'm looking forward to getting started. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions from the board members? None? Great. Thank you very much. Next, public participation. I didn't have any requests. So we'll move to the financial reports from the treasurer, which is items 1 through 11. So this recommends the approval of our financial journal, the check register, our now and then certifications, our transfer and advances listed, the permanent appropriations, donations from Dark County Center for the Arts, approving the section 125 flexible spending plan adoption agreement, acceptance of a donation for the school lunch program, donation from the Covington Eagles for $10,000, accept a donation $250, so Visa gift card from Garnet and Athena Beachler, and Item 11 is the resolution, which allows review the documents and information prepared by the CFO for the district to submit to Miami County for the alternative tax document. So see that is over the next several pages. And we have a motion to approve the items before us. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion for, a roll call for approval, please?
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. Don't have any old business to discuss. Our new business are items 1 through 16 and are recommended approval by the superintendent for resignations and employments, which is our assistant treasurer position, and approve a job description, supplemental contracts, and approving the 2022-2023 assistant treasurer, Tiffany, who was gracious to come to our meeting tonight. And next is approving the service agreement for Dark County ESC to reimburse for Butler County ESC for audiology services. The next is Dark County ESC for teachers for vision services. Approval of the annual maintenance agreement with SC View. Next item is approving the purchase of an ice cube machine to replace the unrepairable ice maker. Next is approving House Bill 110, providing $65,000 to the Bradford Exempted Village for a school bus purchase program. Next is approving the contract with Dark County ESC for fiscal year 2022 for mental health services. Item 8 is approval of out-of-state trip for the high school girls basketball team and possibly the junior high girls basketball team. Recommend approving the Live Academy for fall of 2023. Approval of 2023 annual membership to the Ohio School Board Association. Approving resolution for the OSB legal fund. Next, we recommend approving insurance recommendations for repair of bus number 20 as listed. Setting the date of the organizational meeting, and then we need to appoint President Pro Tem. Next item is approving a contract with the Dayton Area School Employment System for membership in fiscal year 2023. Authorize the treasurer and superintendent to apply for pre-approval processing grants for available funds for AES Ohio for the charging stations and infrastructure. Next, approving and to move Bethany Epic to the Masters Plus column according to the negotiated agreement. We have a motion to approve items 1 through 16.
So moved.
And second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. One thing we have to do is, I think we have the date already set,
Yes,
We did that
we said that
in
would
advance?
be earlier, but
Which
we
was
need a
great.
pro temp.
and then we just need to appoint a President Pro Tem to preside over that. Volunteers, plans.
I'm sorry, when is the January meeting?
January 10th, we have to do it in the first 15 days of January, so the 17th was supposed to be our third Tuesday date, but because of, that timeline, we had to move that up.
That will work good.
Is there any others have conflicts on the 10th? I think we must have discussed that.
Yeah, that was originally set last year at January's meeting, but hopefully it's still okay.
Appointed President Pro Tem for the 10th.
Nominate Pastor Louis for that.
I agree.
I didn't want Big Scott, he could hit me.
Look straight at me.
Since we don't have to vote on that, that's taken care of. Any other discussions or questions regarding items 1 through 16?
On 14 for the Dayton Area School Employment System, do you think we're getting more, are we getting better applicants now that we're using that more than just doing it the way we used to?
We have gotten.
It's definitely worth our money.
Without question,
Okay.
yes. If that, and I don't want to say this, if it was more money, I won't tell you the amount, but
Uh-huh.
I would still say it's well worth the money.
Right.
Yes. Yes,
Good.
by all means.
I know everyone looks there for jobs, so
Yeah.
it's the best place to advertise, so.
It is the,
I'm
in
glad
my
we picked
opinion,
that
the
up.
best place to advertise for that.
Right.
Any other questions or any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call for approval then, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. So next is our, you segregated our construction information. So it's recommend authorizing agreements with the contractors. They listed the background information. And then item 17, in which the board recommends approval of the Dayton Fence Masters for fencing around the track. Item 18 is hiring Hess Fencing for placing fencing around the track at a cost of $51,000, replacing Dayton Fence Masters. Item 19 is recommended contract with John Floor Construction for construction of the press box. 20 is modification of the scoreboard resolution, whereas a purchase of the new scoreboard for under $50,000 was pursued, and district would move the present scoreboard the scoreboard located at our previous site and make modifications and improvements and modernize that scoreboard. Next item is item 21, which is a purchase of a sound system upgrade. A motion to approve the construction-related items
So moved.
Second.
and discussion or questions.
Just for clarification, 17, we had a contract with Dayton Fence Masters. Something happened, they had to back out. So 17 is actually rescinding that motion or that contract that we had already voted on. And then 18 is the new contract with Hess, which, believe it or not, is a little bit less than the original contract. So it worked out better. Just for clarification's sake, on number 20, we have done tons of research on scoreboards. And we had a resolution a long time ago about buying a new scoreboard. This one's going to replace that one. Basically, we are going to take, we've had somebody look at our scoreboard. The folks that put it up said everything's still in great shape. If something were to come up and we needed to do something different, we could put all new guts in it for $4,000. We'll have her taken down, we'll have her repainted. We'll put a header about on the top that looks very similar to this. We'll paint up Go Railroaders, something like that on there as well. We'll have new play clocks, so everything is synchronized. And we shouldn't have any issues because we just replaced the control unit for it this year, and we've got an extra control unit because of that too. So that being said, we're going to save the district tons of money by doing this, and I think we're going to have a really good product and something we're proud of with that.
Sounds great.
And number 19 there is, or not 19, yeah, 19, Jonathan. Do you have him nailed down on a schedule? Because
He actually, he said his spring is completely clear. He can get in there. He's basically said, we're gonna put us on first. I've been told, and I don't understand this, but I've been told they can line block even through the winter time. And if they're doing that, they can get in here almost any time. He kind of thinks that, yes, he can get in here even with the bleachers here, and the bleachers are scheduled to be here in February. But he said he can do that even if the bleachers are in place. He can work from the inside and put up a scaffolding and everything there, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I didn't want him homes and other people up.
Nope, he sounded like everything was good. He said his early spring was still good. So, yep.
Any other questions? And then we'll call for approval, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes, next item is approving hire the following substitute teacher, 2022, 2023. Maggie Manuel, you have a motion to approve?
Second?
In a second. Scott and Maria, discussion or questions?
She was approved last month, just to alleviate any confusion. She was approved as a substitute aide. We've been using her as a substitute teacher the last couple of days, and she's doing a great job.
That's what I was about to say. She's been amazing.
And it was kind of neat today. She was in a classroom and our aide had to leave, so her mom had to come in and be an aide in the same classroom, so they were working side by side. It was their meeting.
That's what I told them over the weekend, just gotta remember who's the boss. Yeah.
Any other questions? Roll call for approval, please.
For me.
Mrs. Brewer?
No,
Yes.
no,
Pastor Rindle?
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Abstain.
Dr. Swab?
Yes. Item 23 is a recommendation for the board to approve the resolution to terminate service agreement with the Dark County ESC. And I won't read those, but it's a resolution to that effect. You have a motion to approve
Make a motion.
and a second.
Second.
Right. Any discussion, questions, clarifications?
This is one I want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing. This was originally number 8 on the agenda that was shared out, and we had talked to our lawyers to make sure that we were doing this correctly. So it changed, it morphed a little bit. We wanted to make sure it was its own motion tonight, so we took it out of the consent agenda item. But what this means, and maybe a little bit of background before this, we are members of the consortium in Darke County for our MD and ED students. So if we have an ED or MD student in our building that is too much for us to be able to work with, we share those students with other school districts, and we move them to different districts around the county in order to get the best services that we can get out of that basically for those students. So we have been in this consortium for many, many years. We have purchased services from Darke County for many, many years. We have had situations where some of those students are severe enough that they are not able to service them in Darke County. So then we start looking for services in Miami County. So now we've got travel going to the west, we have travel going to the east, we have all this going on. So we are not at the point to say we want to completely sever everything, but we are at the point of saying, let's investigate what it looks like if we were to go to Miami County or wherever to purchase different services. Because our school was originally designated as a Miami County school, if we look anywhere in the state of Ohio, we are a Miami County school, even though we're sitting in Darke County right now. So theoretically, our alignment is already with Miami County. Our ADM money, there's money that comes through the state for each of our students. That money already goes to Miami County. So theoretically, a transition, a service that was purchased would be very easy to do through Miami County. But our attorney basically said, just to make sure we're doing this correctly, let's go ahead and put this on here, just to make sure that if there is any questions with Darke County, we've got it covered. We are working with Darke County to make our services better. But over Christmas break, I want to do a deep dive into figuring, okay, what are the dollars going to look like if we go to Miami County for X, Y, or Z services instead of Darke County? And there's no reason we couldn't purchase services from both places. Right now, we do a little bit of that, but it's definitely Darke County heavy. This would allow us the flexibility to go a little different direction if we need to, especially for those high need students. So that's kind of what we're looking at with this. So, and again, it doesn't tie us into saying we are going Miami County. This is just allowing us the option to negotiate with Darke, with Miami, with Shelby, with wherever we're going to go, or Franklin for all that matter. But it'd be kind of silly to do, but I mean, it's a possibility. So,
Any questions? Sounds like a reasonable plan. Roll call for approval.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Pastor Rindle?
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Yes.
Dr. Swab?
Yes. The next item is the second and final reading of the NOLA policies listed on our agenda. So tonight we would vote to approve those. Do we have a motion to approve?
Is someone?
In a second.
Second.
Discussion or questions or clarifications regarding those policies. I appreciated the short little blurb again to clear the mind of what each one was. That was helpful. Any questions? If none, then roll call to approve those policies.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. Next item is a motion to enter executive session for item G1, what's listed on the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. And
Second.
roll call for executive session.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Pastor Rindle,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. So at 7:25, we'll enter executive session. There'll be no voting or action taken after the executive session. Thanks, everybody, for participation.
Thanks, everyone. You go first, Rick.
I gotta keep it off stage.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll do everything I need, yeah. Gave me my homework.
There you go.
I have it all ready.
We'll have more coffee.
Yeah.
Yes, your homework is to bring
I have to take it with me.
Welcome to the district.
Thank you.
I hope can find a better mentor and teacher to
I'm-
train.
I am very excited.
Welcome, and I don't know about working on them.
I also know Maria when I was much younger, probably.
Yeah. When I saw that, I'm like, I have to look that up because that looks so familiar.
Yeah.
So I go, of
Where is
course, to
it?
Facebook, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
So her father,
Did you know she would be your neighbor?
No, until,
She lived to where TJ
I know
lives.
that's until Bob told me. I didn't know that.
Thank you, thank you.
I knew she had Bradford ties. I just didn't know how fancy it
Her
was.
husband's grandpa was a milkman.
My Fred Shine, yes, is that, that's my husband's grandfather.
Yeah, I remember the milk thing.
Fred Shine, please. So
So I did his grandma's hair for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then it wound up, it was her husband.
My husband's grandfather.
Milkman, yeah. So then he's got lots of kids around town, you know.
Yes.
Everybody, right?
Yes, so, yes.
I don't think that was.
I
just don't want to.
Yes, always.
And they're like, so, Shively, he's the one that delivered. I'm like, yes, it's not my father-in-law, it is my husband's grandfather.
I think they standardized before.
Yes. Yes.
Together.
That's easy.
Look at this, nobody signed it. I'm gonna be the first one to sign it. All right, I gotta get over here. Time to start without me.
See ya.
Welcome.
We'll
See
be
you,
talking.
Okay, sounds good.
You wanna come up? We're going up Thursday. We'll be there Thursday, Friday this week, and then next week we'll be there. We're going to the casino the 26th and 27th, but then we'll be at the lake from the 28th to the 3rd.
Well, I'll, yeah, and as far as just getting.
Okay. We'll be there.
I have a student cheering right now in the gym. I went by and I'm like, hey. So I didn't even know they were playing the FM.
Nice to see everybody there. Nice things about being in a small town.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so you came here, right?
By all means. Exactly.
I look at it, they're like, oh my gosh.
I'll tell you what.
That's okay, because the kids can't tell time.
Flies.
Looks like it.
Just so you know, I have
They're
lessons
dangerous.
with my kids every year.
Yeah,
I teach them how
me
to tell
too.
time. And they're juniors and seniors, they do not know. And then when we come back from Christmas, I have to retell them, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20. They have no idea how to tell time.
They can Snapchat with the best of them.
Yeah, on a real clock, they only know on digital time.
Yep.
And then you can't say quarter till or quarter after or 20 till. It's 20 till 8. What time is that? I'm like, 7:40. They know what 7:40 is. It's so crazy, but you have to teach them when they're juniors.
Yeah, that's true.
So we are out of executive session at, what time was that? 18.
18 after.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for these. Is this from the
Our
FFA?
department put those together.
Nice, I love it.
Yep.
I love those coasters.
They made those just for you guys today.
I like it.
Bill, thank you for us.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
And we'll call for adjournment, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes?
Pastor Reinhold,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mr. Manuel,
Yes.
Dr. Swab.
Yes. Thanks, everybody, for taking your time out the evening for the students.
Yes, thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Same to
See
you.
you all on the 10th, I guess.
Yes.
Sounds good.
For a new
Yeah, that
year.
works good for me because that next
President
week,
Louis.